PokeMoshPit, how's it going? My name is Noah, YouTube name NoJNP, and I'm here to give you a Black and White 2 OU battle against charmander2416. Now, you guys might know me as the guy who originated the whole Wild Chase and Address thing, and because Wild is probably going to watch this video, to make sure I don't say anything about him and Address, I'll offer you guys a new deal. So what I want you to do is comment down below and tell me what PokeMoshPit director you most want to see in Address, then come to my channel and subscribe, and a picture just might magically come up on your screen of that person in Address. Anyway, my team on the bottom part of the screen is going to feature a bunch of Pokemon that can get rid of Tornadus T and the Rain, which is why I'm considering Sandstorm right here. I'm also running Magnezone, which after rocks the Ice Shard will be able to take out Tornadus T just in general, so this is why I'm running a Magnezone. I'm also running Jolly Nature, which is really going to help me against two Pokemon, and those are going to be a Gliscor and a Lucario, which luckily this guy has on his team right here. So we're going to get into this battle. I'm going to lead off with my Tyranitar as he leads off with a Rotom. I'm considering it to maybe be a Choice Scarf and it can go for the trick. I'm considering maybe it's going to Volt Switch. Instead, it's just going to go for a Hydro Pump, but I do have the +1 in special defense because I'm Rock type and I'm in the sand, so I have no problem getting up my rocks right here because I do not see a rapid spinner on his team, and rocks are going to be pretty awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out right here. I'm going to go into my Jellicent because I thought it was pretty obvious that he was going to go for another Hydro Pump right here. He does do that, and I want to take it beautifully because I have the water absorbability. At this point, I could predict him to go into a Pokemon that can perhaps wall my Scald, if anything, if that's possible. So he's actually going to switch out. He's going to go into his Reuniclus, which is a good play because he would be able to take my Scald very well, and he has the Magic Guard ability. I'm actually going to predict that though, and I'm going to go into my Joey, which is my Choice Scarf and Trick Gengar. So I'm going to try to get the trick off in this Reuniclus to give it the Choice Scarf, and that would have been fantastic. Instead, I don't know if he predicted the trick or he's using his Rotom as death fodder, but he's going to do the very good play. I'm going to find out that his Rotom is Choice Scarf, and we're going to kind of switch the Choice Scarfs, which is funny because it doesn't really matter at this point. But I know one of my moves is probably not going to be able to take him out, so I'm going to go back into my Tyranitar. I was actually not predicting him to double switch. I was actually thinking him maybe to go for the Volt Switch. Instead, he's going to go into his Jirachi, which we always have to consider Jirachis to have the Body Slam and Iron Head combination in today's day and age. So I'm actually going to leave myself in, actually predicting him to go for the Stealth Rocks, and I'm going to go for the Earthquake. Instead, he's going to go into his Gliscor, which because it's Flying type, it's going to be immune to it, and he's going to get the Poison Heal at this point. Now, I know he's going to go for the Protect next turn to see if I have the Ice type move, and even though I do have the Ice Beam on my Tyranitar, I actually want to mask it for a little bit longer because it could be of use later. I'm going to go into my Magnezone as he does go for the Protect because I can obviously threaten him out with the Icicle Crash, which is ×4 super effective, and it is going to be Stab. But I realize that my Magnezone is going to be a huge threat to almost every single Pokemon on his team, I believe only barring this Rotom. I'm going to go for the Icicle Crash. It does a decent amount of damage, and in combination with the, the Choice, not the Choice Scarf, the Sandstorm and the Rocks, it's going to basically bring him down next time he brings it in. So I'm going to go into my my Jellicent right here. I was actually predicting him to go for the attacking move. I really didn't even care if he went for the Volt Switch. Instead, he's going to go and get my leftovers from the trick, which means I could perhaps outspeed him at this point, but either way, it's going to be hard because now this Rotom is going to get Recovery, which is kind of going to negate the fact that Sandstorm is up. So I'm going to go into my Joey right here as I do predict him to use the Volt Switch. I know I should be able to take it pretty well, and I should be able to outspeed all of the Pokemon on his team because it's pretty obvious that I'm Choice Scarfed. He's actually going to make the very good play right here. He's going to go into his Jirachi, baiting me to go for the trick, which I'm like, alright, no problem, I'm just going to go for the trick. And then he's going to go right back into his Rotom, so that allows him to get the Choice Scarf off of me before his Rotom does die to the Sandstorm, which means now my Joey is not going to be faster than his other Pokemon, and instead it just has the leftovers, which with this amount of HP, it's really not going to be too great for me. Instead, he's going to bring in this Gliscor. I'm actually going to try to do a Destiny Bond thing right here, but it's not going to work, unfortunately, because I'm going to live with 4 HP with the Ice Fang, and then I'm going to die to the Sandstorm, which is, it was so aggravating because if I could do the Destiny Bond takedown with the Ice Fang, that would have been huge against this Gliscor. Instead, I had to bring right back into my Magnezone, which could obviously threaten out this Gliscor. As he sees, I'm just going to go for another Icicle Crash, which I actually have no problems going for against this Jirachi. I really don't want to predict against the Gliscor because my Magnezone is one of only 2 Pokemon that really can do a lot of damage to his Gliscor. Instead, with his Jirachi right here, I am free to go for an Earthquake anytime I want. Instead, I really don't think it's necessarily going to take him out at this point, and I also have a Magnezone, which should do fantastically against his Jirachi. As I did predict before, this is going to be a Stealth Rocks user, and I'm thinking that any one of his moves really shouldn't be able to take take out my sub. So at this point, I'm going to get a free sub up. This is an expert belt, Magnezone, so in the sand, it should be able to do a decent amount to his Jirachi with a hidden power fire. Now, this could potentially be, you know, a stalwart, because if he does have the wish and protect combination, my HP fires are not really going to do too much to him. Instead, I'm going to get the massive crit right there, which completely didn't matter if he did have the wish and protect combination. If he didn't, I think in the long run, I only would have lost just a few more PP points on my HP fire. Either way, I will be able to go for one more HP fire, and it is going to take out his Jirachi at this point. I believe he just went for the wish, which was really good on his part, because once he brings in his Dragonite, I was planning to get the Stealth Rocks up because it would be able to break a Dragonite's multi-scale. Instead, it's really not going to do too much, because after the wish damage, he's going to get up to back to multi-scale, so I'm just going to go for the Thunderbolt. In hindsight, I probably should have gone for the Volt Switch and get some Switch Initiative at this point, but instead, I was realizing that the Thunderbolt probably wouldn't allow him to go up to the multi-scale way. I'm actually going to leave my Magnezone completely as death fodder, knowing I 100% cannot take an Earthquake, because I do not need my Magnezone anymore. He doesn't have any steel types that I need to trap in. And I'm going to go into my Pringles right here, because I know I should be able to take a move at a neutral attack. And after I do take a move, I'm just going to bring him down to a lower amount of HP, where I could bring in my Mamoswine and take him out with the Ice Shard, which is Life Orb boosted. I really would have loved the burn with the Scald right there, which have just would have increased my chances of taking him out with the Ice Shard the following turn, which is going to happen because he's going to be locked into that Outrage one more turn, which means he's going to have to stand. He can't switch out. And I'm going to go for the Ice Shard, and I believe I get around max damage at this point. I believe an Ice Shard is going to do around 55%, and he was around 52, maybe 53. Either way, I do take him out, but I'm realizing after the Stealth Rocks and the Life Orb, my Mamoswine is going to quickly lose HP. But I see this Lucario right here, and I'm like, I'm a Jolly Nature. The pure purpose of me being a Jolly Nature is to outspeed Lucarios and Gliscors. So after I see this Lucario, I'm like, bam, you are going to die to the Earthquake, and super effective and stab, he's going to die, obviously, to the Earthquake. But I'm going to switch out because I really can't do anything to this Reuniclus. If it does have the Focus Blast, it could actually do a lot of damage to me. I decided to go into my Jirachi because I could perhaps get a Wish Off, not necessarily to my Mamoswine, which I definitely want to consider for later in the match, but really to any Pokemon, as I believe he does do a double switch into his Gliscor, which is a good play because I can't really attack it, and his super effective and stab Earthquake could do a decent amount to me. As you see, it's going to do around, I see almost about 50% to me. But I'm going to go for the U-turn because, by the way, useless crit right there. I'm going to go for the U-turn because I can obviously go back into my Mamoswine, and even if I am taking rocks damage, and every time I attack I am taking Life Orb, this is doing a really good job of scaring out his Gliscor, so he's going to have to go into his Reuniclus, which is only going to take a little bit of damage from this Icicle Crash. I really want to have a situation where I can bring my Tyranitar with a good amount of health, and with a Crunch I should be able to do a decent amount to his Reuniclus before he takes me out with the probable and possible Focus Blast. So what's going to happen, I'm going to go into my Jirachi as he goes for the Shadow Ball. And he's actually going to get the pretty useful special defense drop, which means if he does go for a Focus Blast next turn, he could potentially take me out. Either way, I'm going to try to get a Wish Off because at this point, I don't really care what the Wish is going to help because all my Pokemon need it at this point, especially my Jirachi. He's actually going to go for the Focus Blast, and unfortunately it's going to miss, but you know, it doesn't have the best accuracy, so sometimes you can complain, sometimes you can't. I don't know if it would have taken me out even with the -1 in special defense, but at this point I really want to get the Iron Head to paralyze and perhaps flinch. That's not going to happen. I'm just going to go back with the Jirachi, and after one more turn the Wish is going to come down on me, and I'm going to be back up to a really good amount of health. But I see this Reuniclus, it's probably not going to switch out because it is one of his only special attacking Pokemon remaining, and I am at -1 special D, so he's probably going to want to attack me a few times. I see the Recover right there, so I know that he has the moves Recover, Shadow Ball, and Focus Blast. I'm really not sure if he's going to have one more attacking move or the Calm Mind because, you know, you can't really tell what move this has with ability and the items. That is the word that I'm looking for. Anyway, I think he might actually have the leftovers right here. Yeah, he has the leftovers, so I don't know what I'm saying. Basically, at this point, I realize that he's not going to do too much damage to me. I can get off the Wish onto one of my other Pokemon, so I'm going to go for the Wish, and he brings in this Gliscor right here. I'm like, holy shit, this is going to be the play of the match because we are going to do a freeze frame right there. This is exactly what was going on in my head. I could do one of two options. I could A, switch Jirachi out, predicting the Protect, and I'll get the Wish recovery on the Mamoswine, or B, I could U-turn out, predicting his Earthquake and then get the Wish recovery on my Mamoswine. Either way, it's pretty obvious that I need Wish on my Mamoswine. I'm going to predict him to use the Earthquake, and I'm like, oh my god, I predicted right, because if I went to my Mamoswine while the Earthquake was going on, not only would Mamoswine die, but my Wish recovery would be completely useless. So I'm going to get the free U-turn and Wish recovery on my Mamoswine. I was like, oh my god, that was a beautiful, beautiful play, because after the Wish recovery, I'll be back up above 50%, and really none of his Pokemon can either take perhaps 2 of my hits at this point. I'm going to go for the Icicle Crash, and again, ×4 super effective and stab. It is beautiful to see this Gliscor finally going down, as I almost took him down before with the Destiny Bond. So now he only has 1 Pokemon left, being this Reuniclus right here. It's going to kind of be a bitch to take out. I'm just going to go for the Earthquake because, you know, why not get a little bit more damage on him before he's able to take me out. He's going to go for the Focus Blast, and I believe I have like 2 Pokemon left. I am positive that I have the Jirachi and the Tyranitar left, but I'm not sure if I have anything else. Either way, at this point, I'm just going to go into my Jirachi because hopefully I can get some Wish support, and hopefully, or really, probably, I'm going to be able to get the Wish before he's going to kill me off, which is going to be nice because then I can get more HP on another Pokemon. Instead, he's actually going to miss the Focus Blast, which I really would have rather him hit because it just would have been better overall for me. Instead, I'm going to have to either get the Wish support on my Jirachi or predict him to do something else. I figured that the best option was to go for the Iron Head because the Paraflinch combination would allow me to get up to full HP with my Jirachi. And at this point, the battle is pretty much over unless he wants to really try to stall me out, which is improbable with my Jirachi against his Reuniclus. He's not going to either go for a recover in the near future, I believe. I'm just going to U-turn out. I'm going to go into my Tyranitar, which after the next move, I will be able to finish him off. So I believe, if I'm correct, this was going to be a 2-0 in my favor. This was a really fun battle. He's actually going to go for the Focus Blast right here, and I think I'm going to live with just a smidgen, as NBZ would say. So if you guys did enjoy this, please leave a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave a dislike, and tell me in the comments down below how I can improve my commentary. Other than that, guys, please check out my channel if you guys did enjoy this. I am very close to 2,000 subscribers, and then I'll do a 2K sub special for you guys. So thanks guys for watching, rate, comment, subscribe, and as always, take care.